Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. The protesting wrestlers have met with Sports Minister Anurag Thakur today after a marathon 6-hour-long meeting. The wrestlers have said that they've given time till the 15th to the government to take visible action against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, and that they will not protest till then. They are suspending their protest until the 15th of this month. The government, it is learned, has also told the wrestlers that by the 15th, a probe report will be filed by the Delhi police. But whether or not that will lead to arrest, that is still an open question, and that is the singular demand of the protesting wrestlers, that Brij Bhushan Sharan be arrested first. In this eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation, who will blink first? That's what we'll get to in just a second. But first, the story of the day so far.
India's champion wrestlers, the pride of the nation who have brought glory to the tricolour on the global stage, now locked in a bitter face-off with the centre. For weeks, the wrestlers have demanded the arrest of WFI President Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. An MP from UP's Kaisarganj, he is in the eye of the storm for allegedly sexually harassing women wrestlers, including a minor. The Delhi police has lodged 2 separate FIRs, including one under the non-bailable Section 10 of the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. Section 10 of the Act pertains to aggravated sexual assault. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has denied all charges.
और मैं पूरी तरह से निर्दोष हूं और इन आरोपों का सामना करने के लिए तैयार हूं.
From Jantar Mantar to the march towards the new parliament to almost immersing their medals in the Ganga, the wrestlers have refused to budge, gaining support from farmer groups, Khap Panchayats and especially the opposition.
देश की बेटियां देश के तिरंगे को सर पर उठाए, देश के सम्मान को ताज पहनाकर गोल्ड मेडल जीत कर लाती हैं. उनके साथ शारीरिक उनका शोषण होता है और उसके बाद दिल्ली पुलिस मार मार कर उनको जंतर मंतर से विरोध प्रदर्शन भी नहीं करने देती.
पंचायत भी चलेगी, मीटिंग भी चलेगी, धरने भी चलेंगे, रास्ते जाम भी होंगे, सब काम होंगे. तो बहुत जनता है देश में, सारा काम करूंगी.
To diffuse the crisis, the centre has continued its outreach. After meeting Home Minister Amit Shah, the wrestlers met Sports Minister Anurag Thakur, who has requested them to suspend their agitation till the investigation is concluded.
जो अनुराग ठाकुर ने जो पहले जो जनवरी में जो बैठे थे बच्चे, उस टाइम भी जो ये धरना उठाया गया था, लेकिन वो अपनी बातों पर जो खेल मंत्री वो रहा नहीं, जो बात जो बच्चों के साथ हुई थी, तो जबकि दोबारा जो धरना.
The wrestlers, however, maintain that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should immediately be removed from the post of WFI chief and taken into police custody. They have been assured that the investigation will be over by the 15th of June and they will suspend their protest till then.
15 तक हम कोई आंदोलन नहीं करेंगे. 15 तक पुलिस जांच पूरी होने तक हम वेट कर रहे हैं. आंदोलन हमारा खत्म नहीं हुआ.
वही सरकार ने बोला कि भाई हम 15 तारीख तक जो पुलिस की प्रक्रिया है वो पूरा करके आप लोगों को बता देंगे. अगर कोई और बात हुई तो आगे फिर बात चर्चित होगी.
निवर्तमान अध्यक्ष ब्रिज भूषण सिंह, जिनकी 3 टर्म पूरी हुई है, वो और उनसे संबंधित लोग उसमें चुनकर ना आए, इस तरह की उनकी मांग थी. जो महिला खिलाड़ियों को या बाकी खिलाड़ी आवश्यकता अनुसार सिक्योरिटी उनको मिले, जिन खिलाड़ियों के या अखाड़ों के या अकेडमीज के या कोचेस के खिलाफ मुकदमे हैं, उन मुकदमों को वापस लेने की मांग की है ताकि उस पर कोई कानूनी या पुलिस की कार्रवाई ना की जा सके.
The deadlock persists as the showdown escalates between the two sides. The big question remains, who will blink first?
All right, before we go across to our full panel that is joining us on Brass Tacks this evening, I want to first go across to Olympic medalist and executive member of the Indian Olympic Association, Yogeshwar Dutt. योगेश्वर जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. अभी पहलवानों का जो आंदोलन वो चल रहा है, उनका कहना ये है कि वो अभी भी जारी है. 15 तारीख तक वो थोड़ा सा विराम ले रहे हैं, उसको सस्पेंड किया जा रहा है क्योंकि उन्होंने आज भी उनका लंबा चौड़ा मीटिंग चला खेल मंत्री के साथ 6 घंटे की मीटिंग थी। उसके बाद उन्होंने ये कहा कि 15 तारीख तक उनको आश्वासन दिया गया है कि उस तारीख तक बृजभूषण शरण के खिलाफ कार्रवाई होगी और एक्शन होगी उनके खिलाफ। क्या आप आश्वस्त है कि 15 तारीख तक बृजभूषण शरण के खिलाफ या तो गिरफ्तारी होगी या कोई जो जांच की जो रिपोर्ट है वो फाइल हो जाएगी तब तक?
देखिए, पहली बात तो ये है कि इतनी जल्दी सजा नहीं मिल सकती। पूरी न्यायालय जो प्रक्रिया होती है वो चीज चलेगी। उससे पहले पूरी पुलिस को जांच करनी है और शायद जांच कर भी चुकी होगी और अभी कुछ होगा तो वो जल्दी पूरी कर लेगी। जो आज आप लोगों के माध्यम से मुझे पता लगा है कि 15 तारीख तक का समय दिया है कि भाई जो भी तफ्तीश है, जांच है, इन्वेस्टिगेशन है, वो पूरी करके और पुलिस अपनी रिपोर्ट दायर करेगी। उसके बाद तो न्यायालय का काम है कि क्योंकि बहुत लंबा आपको पता है कि और आपको क्या सभी को पता है कि कोर्ट कचहरियों का बड़ा लंबा प्रोसीजर होता है। उसमें फास्ट ट्रैक में भी 3 या 6 महीने लगते हैं फास्ट ट्रैक में चलाने के बाद भी। पर मैं ये मानना कि कुश्ती बहुत बुरे दौर से में है आज के टाइम में और लगभग 4-5 महीने हो चुके हैं इस पहलवानों के प्रोटेस्ट को। तो जल्दी ही इसका कोई रास्ता निकलना चाहिए और जूनियर बच्चे जो सब जूनियर बच्चे हैं वो भी बड़े एक कंफ्यूजन है और एक मानसिक तौर पे बड़े परेशान है सभी, क्योंकि कोई नेशनल नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं, सीधी ट्रायल और डायरेक्ट ट्रायल हो रही है पहलवानों की। तो उसमें थोड़ा कंफ्यूजन होता है। पर जो भी है कि ये जल्दी से जल्दी इसका हल निकलना चाहिए और पहलवानों को भी, क्योंकि ये जो पहलवान है ये भी अब एशियन गेम्स अगले साल ओलंपिक है तो इनको भी तैयारी करनी होगी शायद।
तो इनका जो मेन डिमांड है पहलवानों की वो ये है कि बृजभूषण शरण की गिरफ्तारी हो जाए। उनका मानना ये है कि अभी 6 या 7 महिला पहलवान सामने आ चुके हैं। उन्होंने कंप्लेंट रजिस्टर कर दी है। उनके खिलाफ जो शोषण हुआ था उसके बारे में डिटेल्ड पुलिस के साथ उन्होंने कंप्लेंट और एफआईआर दर्ज की है। इसके बावजूद अगर बृजभूषण शरण की गिरफ्तारी नहीं हो रही है तो फिर कोई बड़ा आदमी उसको प्रोटेक्ट कर रहा है। क्या राजनीतिक कारण की वजह से उसको प्रोटेक्ट किया जा रहा है?
देखो, ये तो पुलिस एफआईआर दर्ज हो चुकी है, 1 महीना हो चुका है, उसको पुलिस अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रही है। कहीं कुछ पीछे बताया था कि कोई भाई नाबालिग लड़की भी है और ये भी सुनने में आया कि उसने अपना जो है वो केस वापस ले लिया है। तो ये तो पूरे अंदर की बातें हैं, क्या सच है क्या झूठ है वो तो नहीं बता सकते। पर पुलिस अपनी जांच कर रही है और जहां तक मेरे को लगता है कि अगर पुलिस जो कुछ काम कर रही है जो, क्योंकि कानून के दायरे से बाहर कोई नहीं आता और खासकर कोई पुलिस में होता है तो वो अपने कानून के दायरे में जरूर रहता है। कोई गिरफ्तारी करने की बात होगी तो गिरफ्तारी भी करेगी। पर यही है कि किसी ने कुछ गलत किया है तो वो जांच होनी चाहिए और सजा मिलनी चाहिए। दोषी को भी जांच होनी चाहिए कि जो भी प्रकरण हुआ है, जो भी ये भी इतना बड़ा ये पूरे देश में और पूरी दुनिया में एक खराब माहौल बना खिलाड़ियों कुश्ती को लेके, तो ये बड़ा दुखदायी है।
ओके, योगेश्वर दत्त, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। We'll see how this story plays out till the 15th. I'm now opening this up to our panelists. Pratik Shom is spokesperson of the JJP, which is an ally of the BJP in Haryana. Monika Mehrotra is spokesperson of the Congress Party. A.B. Subbiah is former Indian hockey player and Arjuna awardee. Ranjit Bajaj, ex-chairman of the Committee of Administrators of Indian Football. And Ashwini Nachappa, former athlete, is also joining us. Pratik Shom, as an ally, more than in fact an ally of the BJP, the fact is that there is pressure on your party as well because these wrestlers, they hail from Haryana, they're the pride of Haryana, the pride of India. The fact that it's been a month and a half since these protests started, we've had a second 6-hour-long meeting between the sports minister and the protesting wrestlers. Why should they believe and why should the people who are watching this saga unfold believe that by the 15th there will be some resolution? After all, it hasn't resolved in the last month and a half.
Yes. So, Zaka, there are 3 aspects to this whole controversy. One is the allegation part, which has already culminated into 2 FIRs. Another aspect is the investigation, in which if Delhi police will find any evidence, they will certainly file a charge sheet. Third aspect is the prosecution part, which will happen in the fast track court as mandated under our constitution, and court will pronounce him guilty or may convict him basis on the trial and the charge sheet filed by the Delhi police along with evidences. See, now replying to your question, it is good that the belief in central government has been restored by that what happened in Supreme Court. It was central government through Solicitor General who submitted that they are willing and ready to do this FIR. And before Honorable Supreme Court could pass any directions, it was already submitted by Solicitor General that on same day both the FIR will be. Our stand since the beginning is that anything which has to happen, which should happen in a legal framework, in a constitutional framework. Whatever the
Let me ask
controversy
Monica
is,
Mehrotra,
it cannot
the fact
go
that this
beyond
has
our
been going on
constitutional
for a
framework.
month and a half, there are 2 sets of FIRs that have been filed. The wrestlers have given their statements to the Delhi police, and also they've gone and recorded statements from Brij Bhushan, Sharan and people close to him. The police's contention by way of sources is if there was any material that warranted arrest, and particularly because one of the accusers happens to be a minor, then he would have been arrested by now. The fact that he's not been arrested is indicative that there isn't material enough to show that Brij Bhushan Sharan's arrest is warranted. That is what Delhi police sources are claiming.
You think so? Are we all that blind? Let's not get into technicalities, but let me tell you, Zaka, it has been absolutely sinful. It's been sinful and arrogant, or I would say a meek behavior of the tongue-tied sports minister towards the dignity and pride of these wrestlers. I mean, look at the way they've got the laurels of this country. If they are saying something, why is the government so deaf? Why didn't they hear them? It took them so long. They did the protest earlier on a promise that, okay, things will be sorted out and we'll look into it. Nothing happened. Mere lip service. And then they resumed their protest for good 35-40 days, and look how they were treated. They were dragged. They were assaulted by the police personals. Look at the way the stuff was thrown around. Is this the way you treat the honor and dignity of our country?
No,
That's
but ma'am, what the BJP is saying, again by way of sources, is that, you know, if there is material to show, even an iota of material to show that this man, Brij Bhushan Sharan, did all the things that he is accused of, then arrest would have been automatic, because under POCSO, you have to get arrested. That is the law,
yes.
and there are Supreme Court judgments that back that as well.
And that is what is worrying us. Imagine if a minor has done the complaint. It took the Supreme Court to intervene to get the FIR law, Zakaji.
Yeah.
Just imagine if, and they talk about those a law which is amended after Nirbhaya, the fast track code, the in-camera recording, and you know all those funds and stuff like that. And this is what happened. The new law POSCO was enacted. Look what you're doing with it. You can't play around with it.
I also want to inform our viewers, and we covered this a moment ago, a couple of hours ago. Our sister channel News 18 Haryana has spoken to the parent of this minor victim in this case. And he has said to News 18 that the initial charges were not something that they were in agreement with. Therefore, the minor has gone back to the magistrate and re-recorded her statement, where we're given to understand that the gravity of the charges against Brij Bhushan Sharan are not the same as what it was when she first recorded her statement. He's, of course, gone on to clarify as to why that's the case. But let me ask Ashwini Nachappa then that. If this is a game of political brinkmanship or one-upmanship, do you believe the government, especially after today's meeting and the assurance from the wrestlers that till 15th they won't do anything, and then the probe report will be filed by the 15th, and then the law will take its own course, do you believe that in this political one-upmanship the centre may have finally prevailed after a month and a half since these protests began?
Well, Zaka, I'm happy that the centre has finally come and, welcomed these wrestlers and actually paid some, dedicated certain amount of time to listen to their grievances, because this could have been done much earlier. Too much time has lapsed. Too many things have transpired. There's so much of speculation right from the beginning. For me, I don't know why even the IOA constituted committee has not brought out the report. It's not been made public. There's too many things, and whether somebody says that the minor has, retracted its statement, whether that is possible legally, once having given that statement, it's really sad that athletes of our country, especially such high-profile athletes, are being treated in this fashion on such grave issues. So what does a normal athlete who has not reached that level of competition or that level of performance, what do they do when they're going through such harassment?
A.B. Subbiah, the question, I think the fundamental and the moot point is that the wrestlers are insistent that Brij Bhushan Sharan has to be arrested. That is the starting point for any resolution to this month-and-a-half-long crisis. Whereas both the police and the government believe that the material that's been placed so far does not warrant arrest. And like I said, even in the case of the minor, the POCSO case is, of course, the most stringent against Brij Bhushan Sharan. Even there, the minor has not retracted her statement. What she has done is re-recorded her statement with the magistrate. And clearly, compared to the first statement, in the second statement, the charges are not as grave. So, A.B. Subbiah.
Yeah, it's nice that they are started their conversation with our sports ministry, and they're in the right track now, because in between there was their protest has gone haywire because a lot of people who are interested in such thing, everybody got into that, and all their decision is definitely there. As a sportsman, they can't have such decision what they have taken in between, though we are with them. Till these people entered completely and taken the protest in the different way. As you said, it's a POSCO case. What we read in some of the articles and some of the people who spoke, like a DG of police and all, they're saying that POSCO Act, they're saying if it's happened recently, within a week or a month or anything has happened, such thing, they immediately arrest without much thing. POSCO, on their complaint, they'll arrest. But this has happened quite some time, after 1 year, 2 years. So that's why after the investigation only, they could have taken a decision of arresting the culprit and whatever.
Okay.
If it's really happened, whatever it is. So we should give a time to the law agency to take their proper investigation and find out who is the real fault at this. If it's the fault, he is in the fault, he has to be punished.
Okay, Ranjit Bajaj, the problem is the truth many times in this day and age is playing itself out on media, social media. The reality is actually less important to the perception. And the perception is you have, on the one hand, 6 or 7 award-winning, some of them Olympians, medalists for India, who have come out and made very, very serious allegations against the head of the Wrestling Federation. And on the other hand, you have Brij Bhushan Sharan, who, of course, is a politician, who has a reputation for himself, but his conduct all through these last month and a half has not exactly been pleasing, or has not exactly been, to the tune that was expected of him. So in this battle for perception, as it were, clearly the wrestlers seem to have public sympathy and public opinion with them. No matter what Brij Bhushan Sharan may say or not, it seems like the government has come across as not siding with the wrestlers, but instead trying to protect one of its own.
First of all, thank you so much for having me. Good evening to all the other panelists. Good evening to you. See, I think people are taking this case to be a totally opposite direction. They've made it like all the other panelists are saying are great wrestlers or sportsmen, sportswomen against a politician. It's not. It's the status and what a woman has to go through to get her voice heard. So I have a very special connection with this because my mother, Rupandeul Bajaj, fought a case for over 20 years, and Supreme Court then made sure that KPS Gill, who was the DGP of Punjab, was convicted. And that was the first ever law which was brought in. Since 1861, till 1990, there was not even a law which said there was anything other than rape. So sexual molestation or aggravated assault did not, so he was actually booked under slapping. So these kind of things being, then that's why the POCSO Act clearly states that the arrest has to be made. It is not on the government to decide or the police to decide. They don't have the power. Apparently, according to law, they don't have the power to decide. Doesn't matter when the case was, if it was 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. If it's a minor, and maybe the minor has taken guts after and she's become a major and then complained, it may be 5 years. the arrest has to happen immediately, because till then she didn't have the guts and now she's become a major and done it. So the arrest according to the act has to happen immediately. So yes, it is the ones who are saving their own, because he's a 6-time member of parliament. They know they require him more than he requires them. He runs his own fiefdom.
Okay, so Pratik, so please answer that specific question. I think Ranjit had a fair point that as per POCSO, arrest is almost automatic. In this case, not only has it been a month and a half, and it's not just one person who's made this allegation, there is a detailed account of 10 to 15 instances where he has directly asked for sexual favors in return for his help as WFI president. Not only is that an abuse of power, but also there is straight up, as the case has been indicated, the straight up case of sexual assault. My simple contention and question to you is, what is the BJP, what is the JJP, what is the government gaining by seemingly protecting this man? If they do genuinely believe he is innocent and that these charges don't hold, all they need to do is to tell him to face the probe, step down as WFI president, strip off all his official positions, say face the probe, let the probe clear his name, and then he can come back as a victor.
See, Zaka, nobody is protecting him. At least I can say for my party that we want that he should be convicted if there is enough evidence. See, I'll tell you as a lawyer also, I can tell you, because people doesn't understand that how law works even in POCSO. In POCSO, when a statement is given for FIR, that is taken under section 161 CRPC. And considering the gravity of this offense, it is a mandate that a statement of the victim is to be recorded in 24 hours in front of a magistrate so that the statement can be authenticated. Because the burden of the proof is on the accused and the repercussions are severe. So that is why in our constitution it is added section 164 ka statement hota hai. Now when the victim goes in front of magistrate and depose her statement under section 164 CRPC, and if there are infirmities, which is the case right now, then the prosecution story gets dented and there may be chances that a person, that the accused, is not arrested. See, Supreme Court has already laid down guidelines for arrest of an accused. It is not the case POCSO की FIR हुई आप सीधा arrest कर लीजिए. There are several guidelines which include.
No, but Pratik, as a lawyer, after Nirbhaya, we know how much more stringent the laws for assault or molestation or any kind of crime against women is. If Brij Bhushan Sharan were not a BJP MP, do you believe he would have stood a chance in terms of not getting arrested for a month and a half if, medal-winning Olympian female wrestlers are sitting on the street? Let's not kid our viewers, right?
Yes, Zaka, Rahul Gandhi got a chance in his in a FIR of rape against him. This subsequently got quashed in High Court because there was no evidence. I am not shielding Brij Bhushan Singh, but I am saying that police should act within a constitutional framework. If a girl has made sub-allegations, let it be investigated. And what happened today? A sports minister has assured them that by 15th of June, the strong charge sheet will be filed. So right now, what do people want? What do wrestlers want? They want Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh to be arrested for a couple of weeks or days and then get a bail and then this fizzles out? Or do you want that he should be convicted if he has done this thing? For me
so
and for my party,
the point that Pratik Som, the JJP, the BJP, they are making is that in 10 days or less than that, if the charge sheet is going to be filed and if the charge sheet is strong, then the legal process starts, the trial begins. Whereas if they were to go and hastily arrest him now, it's just a matter of time, he will get bail. Then what happens?
Yes, and trial will happen in fast track court.
Unika
Sir, imagine, sir, after 35, 40 days, another time taken. Hold on, hold your breath. Stop protecting him to that extent. Power is not important. The dignity of women and how you're treating the women of a country is more important. Stop protecting anybody. Morally, ethically also. If a person has been women have said against a person, morally you should have said, okay, I resign, go ahead, I'm there to, speak about myself. That could have been the way forward also. But look now.
No, but ma'am, his claim is, Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan's claim is that on some of the dates that these wrestlers, there are 7 of them who've come out and made accusations against Brij Bhushan Sharan, on some of these dates, him and the victim were not even in the same place. Some of the places where molestation was alleged abroad, when these players went on international tournaments, there are no stamps of those international places on his passport. That is his claim.
So that is exactly the point, that morally he should resign and said, okay, let's challenge it. That would have been more dignified for the BJP, who harps and keep making tall claim about Beti Badao, Beti Padhao. What happens to that? The point here is, Zaka sir, that he should have been upright in this issue.
From which place?
Why not morally? Come on, sir. The women who have got lauded for this country, you think they will come out on the street and talk about their own dignity up in the open? They must be pressured to such an extent to come out openly,
Please
sir.
tell me one position
When the Prime Minister met them, the girl said, she spoke this to the Prime Minister.
Okay, Ranjit Bajaj wants to come in. No, look, I'm very clear. No, one second. Ranjit Bajaj wants to come in. But before that, let's be very, very clear again. Please don't kid our viewers. Everybody knows that even if Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan steps down as a cosmetic measure, he still has phenomenal ability to influence witnesses, to tamper with evidence. He is a person in an influential position. He's in a position of power, and somebody who's a direct stakeholder in the World Wrestling, in the Wrestling Federation of India. And the people who are accusing him of sexual assault and molestation are people who understand this power differential. This is what happens in most cases of sexual assault and crimes against women, that there is a power differential. And in this case, more so, it's very, very apparent where that power differential is. Ranjit Bajaj.
See, you asked a very, very pertinent question. And in bringing up, if these women wrestlers had gone to the street and protested against any common man, would that man would have been arrested or not?
Yes.
That's as simple as it gets. So if that answer is yes, then that means law is not taking its course and is being bent to favor someone. Because I can guarantee you, and everyone knows, like you said, let's not kid our viewers, you are right. Any other person who wouldn't have been Brij Bhushan Sharan would have been arrested the very day these allegations came out. Because, see, understand, like ma'am said, I don't know what party she's from, so it's not my party affiliation. But the moment a woman comes out and says it, do you know how much guts it takes? That is why the POCSO allegations make sure says that arrest is imminent. In fact, why? Because he should not be able to influence that minor. That's exactly what he has done. She's gone. She would see if that minor would have gone and under 161 CRPC and given a different statement altogether that he has not molested me. Everybody in India would have said he has got it changed. So all she did very, very connivingly was made a totally differentiate between her first and second statement, so it can be discredited in court. This is the reason why they need to be arrested immediately, so that they can't influence. And the power differential is so huge, you can see it work on a daily basis.
Okay.
He's being seen everywhere with the
one
top
of the other demands, other
India.
than the arrest, the other demand of the wrestlers is that no one from Mr. Brij Bhushan's family or immediate, close associates, nobody should be allowed to stand for the WFI elections, which are coming up in some months from now. And B, they're also saying that they need a separate federation, if you will, for women wrestlers. How feasible are both these demands?
I don't know about the separate federation just for women, but I think there is, gender disparity in every federation. I think the demand by all sports persons, especially the women, is to bring more women into the federations, which is not being allowed because of the kind of people that are managing the affairs, very highly political. It's not just recent, but last 4-5 decades, you've seen all politicians only, holding most of the positions. So I personally feel that when such high-profile athletes have come forward, it has taken a lot of guts. This has been happening since 2016. The athletes have been trying to come to the forefront, bring people together. It's not easy as a woman. It's not easy as a performing athlete. It's extremely difficult because these are very, very powerful people. Your career is at stake.
No, Mr. Subbai, I think Ashwini's hit the nail on the head. Not only are you keeping these medal hopefuls from, the trials and, their practice sessions for the upcoming Asiad or Olympics or, whatever the other big tournaments that's coming up. But B, they fully know that they can't afford to lose this fight against Brij Bhushan Sharan, because if they do, then their career is finished. I mean, do you actually believe, Mr. Subaya, that a powerful politician like Brij Bhushan Sharan, if he were to be let scot-free by the agencies, or if he were to win this battle against the wrestlers, as it were, that he would spare the wrestlers, that he would allow them to compete for the Asian Games and for the Olympics? He would finish them. He would destroy them.
Would be at risk.
Mrs. Subbai.
No, it's definitely that Brij Bhushan has to step down. Anyway, his 3-year term is got over. As per sports code, he can't continue anything. But I don't know the other demand of who is near or dear to him. They can't fight the elections. We don't know it will happen because they have some different constitution in each of the association. But I agree 100% with Ashwini. We should have a more female representative, former athletes to come into the federation. They should accommodate them more. So then there will be gender equality will be there. And
but Mr. Subaya, the wrestlers are claiming that even though the IOA is headed by a woman athlete and a woman athlete of great repute, they're saying that precious little help has come their way.
No, that's wrong on their part because the time they put their effort to help them, she went herself to that protest area. So how she was treated. See, when they there is a lot behind it because lot of elements was there in their protest.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We'll see how the story plays out. Like I said, for now, there will be a temporary lull, if you will, till the 15th of June. The wrestlers met with Anurag Thakur today, and after a 6-hour-long meeting, they have said that they've given time till the 15th to the government to be seen taking action against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Meanwhile, talking about action, communal tensions are continuing to grip Maharashtra's Kolhapur after two groups clashed over a controversial social media post. Reports suggest that a social media post glorifying Mughal ruler Aurangzeb and Tipu Sultan triggered a fight between two groups. The police had to resort to lathi charge to control the mob. 21 people have been taken into custody as the police are scanning through social media and CCTV visuals to nab more suspects. The investigation is focused on the possibility of a pre-planned conspiracy to mobilize a mob and spread havoc. Additional forces have also been deployed to maintain law and order.
भीड़ डिस्पर्स हो चुकी है सिटी में हर जगह पे जो इम्पोर्टेंट जंक्शंस है और जो पूरी सिटी है उसमें पुलिस बंदोबस्त डिप्लॉयड है, पेट्रोलिंग चल रही है और लीगल एक्शन हमने इनिशिएट कर दिया है।
महाराष्ट्र में अचानक कुछ जिलों में औरंगजेब की औलादें पैदा हुई है। कौन जानबूझकर महाराष्ट्र में कानून व्यवस्था खराब हो और महाराष्ट्र का नाम खराब हो, ये करने की कोशिश कर रहा है। कानून को हाथ में लिया तो उसके ऊपर कार्रवाई की जाए।
नहीं समझो किसी का पोस्टर कुछ दिखाया या बताया, एजिटेशन करना इसकी कोई आवश्यकता है? ये क्या इशू है?
अभी परिस्थिति है वो काबू में है। आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे बहुत सारे जो प्रदर्शनकारी है हिंदू संगठन के आए थे, उन्होंने जो नुकसान किया है वो आप देख सकते हैं। कोल्हापुर बंद का आज ऐलान किया था और उसके बाद प्रदर्शनकारी ने बहुत सारी भीड़ जमा हुई थी। वो जाते वक्त रास्ते में जो भी कोई मुस्लिम लोगों के व्हीकल दिखते हैं उनके ऊपर उन्होंने हमला किया और उससे बहुत सारा संख्या में तोड़फोड़ की गई है। रिक्शाएं आप देख सकते हैं, बहुत सारे मात्रा में उनकी तोड़फोड़ हो गई। बहुत सारी संख्या में जो लोग हिंदू कर्मी थे इकट्ठा हुए थे। आपको मालूम होगा कि कल शिवराज्याभिषेक दिन था और कल शिवराज्याभिषेक दिन के ही औरंगजेब और टिप्पू सुल्तान के उदात्तीकरण उन्होंने किए हुए स्टेटस मुस्लिम युवकों ने लगाए थे। उससे चलते हिंदू संगठन के लोग थे यहाँ पे आक्रामक हुए थे। उस वजह से आज कोल्हापुर बंद का ऐलान किया था। ये परिस्थिति अभी नियंत्रण में आ गई है। यहाँ देख सकते हैं कि डीएम भी आ गए हैं और वरिष्ठ अधिकारी भी उस घटना की अभी जांच कर रहे हैं।
All right, joining us on the talking point, Twin Sena spokesperson of the BJP, Mahesh Tapase, spokesperson of the NCP, CS Jha is spokesperson of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction, and also will be joined by Krishna Hegde from the Shinde faction of the Shiv Sena. Twin Sena, let me start with you first. It seems to be a bit of a fashion of late, particularly in Maharashtra, where people are putting up, slogans praising Aurangzeb and WhatsApp statuses praising Aurangzeb. How is a person, and the history is known between Aurangzeb and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, in Maharashtra, how can anybody be seen as eulogizing a brutal dictator like Aurangzeb?
Well, good evening, Zaka. Good evening, everybody. As you rightly said, in the pristine, pious land of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, there can be no place, there can be no space for a bigot, a tyrant, a monster like Aurangzeb. His rule between 1658 to 1707 was the darkest phase in India's history. And, the kind of monstrosity that he unleashed upon the people has actually left an indelible scar upon the succeeding generation. So anybody who tries to eulogize him, anybody who tries to defy, glorify him, is actually trying to work out a communal, trying to invoke communal tension in that area. The Congress had done that in the past by invoking Tipu Sultan in Karnataka. A similar thing prevailed in the Kolhapur region. You would be aware, the succeeding generations still are aware of, bear the brunt. They are affected by the scar left by 300 years ago. Okay. So I don't know why something like this needs to be done in Maharashtra. And clearly, the Aghadi ecosystem, they derive, the people who are responsible for this somewhere derive a silent support from the Aghadi ecosystem, because you would remember that during the Aghadi rule last year, Asaduddin's brother had come to the Maqbara of Aurangzeb in Aurangabad, and offered prayers over there. So even then we had warned that such a thing will not be tolerated. So something like this happening in Kolhapur today clearly enjoys a tacit support from the Aghadi ecosystem.
Okay, so Mahesh Tapase, Mr. Sharad Pawar was today asked about this, and he said, is this an issue? Is this the issue that should dominate Maharashtra? Is there a sense that the NCP and the Aghadi is trying to downplay this issue? And again, I come back to the question that I asked Twin Sena. Why should anyone in Maharashtra, knowing fully well the history of Aurangzeb and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, put out WhatsApp statuses eulogizing or praising Aurangzeb?
Well, good evening, Zaka, all panelists and all viewers. Let me tell you that Maharashtra land belongs to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, and the city of Kolhapur is the throne of Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, who preached non-violence, secularism, and upliftment of backward classes. So something like this happening in Kolhapur specifically is something which is absolutely shocking. Kolhapur is a peace-loving district in Western Maharashtra, and almost the last district in Western Maharashtra. So these types of things are happening in Kolhapur. Why? The whole question comes here is why these things have suddenly cropped up. Why it has happened in Ahmednagar, why it has happened in Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, and why other parts of the country and the state of Maharashtra are being affected. Why suddenly Aurangzeb has cropped up from nowhere? I mean, is this an intelligence failure? Is this a way for the BJP to polarize the society on religious lines? I mean, we don't understand. Last 10 months, same repeated pattern is happening over and again. Rather than addressing specific issues, we see the police being deployed, safeguarding the MLAs and MPs,
and total failure of intelligence. Now, these things should have been avoided. They could have been avoided if at all the police would have acted in time, the Home Department would have acted in time. They, I'm sure they would have got intelligence inputs. But why did they not act upon it in the right from the time that people started assembling?
No, but Mr. Tapase, is it your case that the BJP or elements within or close to the BJP are actually behind instigating all of this? I mean, as far as I understand, it was a bunch of people who changed their WhatsApp status praising Aurangzeb, which started this whole clashes.
I want to come to the same point. We have been in the last 2.5 years. Last 2.5 years we were there. Nobody ever talked about Aurangzeb except maybe one of the people from MIM. They used to come, they used to go. But nothing of this level ever happened in Maharashtra. We have been there with Shiv Sena. Current Chief Minister was part of Shiv Sena. The BJP was in power from 2014 and up to 2019 with the Shiv Sena. So nothing of this happened. So why?
So Krishna Hegde, irrespective of what started it, what was the trigger, WhatsApp status, praising someone, not praising someone, forget about that for a second. The fact is, Krishna Hegde, this is happening when your government is in power and this is happening under your watch. Law and order at the end of the day is your responsibility. Irrespective of what triggered it or what started the violence, the pictures that we saw today from Kolhapur and have been seeing for the last 24 hours, that shows, according to people like Mr. Tapase, a singular failure of the state administration, of law and order in the state.
Zaka, there is no failure of any law and administration. The government is solid. The government has taken stern action. Whatever instances happened in the past, the government has curbed it within hours. But now let me bring you to the incidents. It has happened a couple of times in Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, it has happened in Vakula, and it has happened a couple of times in Kolhapur. Now on what days it has happened? It has happened on Ram Navami, the birth date of Lord Sri Ram, the biggest Hindu god who the entire Hindus and all around the world we revere and pray to. And also it happened on Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Rajyabhishek. Now, these are two auspicious big days for Hindus, and it is exactly on these days that some miscreants have started showing Aurangzeb's photo and glorifying Aurangzeb and Tipu Sultan for a vested reason. And this is a pattern, and this is, a design.
No, so isn't the onus on finding out who did this on your government, sir?
No, so there are a couple of people from MIM party who have been arrested. And let me remind Mr. Tapase also that it is the MIM leaders Akbaruddin and Akbaruddin AOC who went to the Maqbara of Aurangzeb and started praying there.
Okay.
And along with him were his member of parliament and his ex-MLA from Mumbai.
So let me ask C.S. Jha of the Uddhav Thackeray faction of the Shiv Sena on that. When Aghadi was in power, you had Akbaruddin Owaisi going to the grave of Aurangzeb. Now for you to turn around and say that law and order is collapsing in Kolhapur because somebody deliberately instigated this, Mr. Jha, that is not acceptable.
No, let me complete.
No, once again, I'm asking Mr. C.S. Jha.
And it is
I'm asking Mr. C.S. Jha. Thank you, Mr. Hegde. Mr. Jha.
The situation right now in Kolhapur is tremendously bad. And what the government is doing is not controlling the violence. They are spreading the violence. I think they want a debate right now on the issue that whether Aurangzeb has done wrong to the society or Chhatrapati Shivaji has done good to the society. We are not onto that. We are right now having a problem at Kolhapur which has to be controlled by the state machinery. And the state machinery has completely failed and completely destroyed their intention to control such activities. And they are now telling the previous government has done so and so, which
no, but Mr. Jha, you come from Maharashtra, you know the history of Maharashtra. Is it acceptable for anyone to, eulogizing and start praising Aurangzeb in the land of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj?
Praising Aurangzeb is not acceptable. It is very clear. But still, the violence has been spread by some kind of criminal acts done by the persons present there. So this has to be controlled by the current state government, and they have miserably failed in it.
Okay, so
And
Tuin
this is
Sinha
the
respond to
situation,
that.
this
At
is
the
the
end of the
scenario
day,
going on for
irrespective of who
Yeah.
has started it, how this fire spread, the onus of stopping it and maintaining law and order is on you. And in that, at least from these pictures, you have failed, Tuin Sinha.
Zakar, jihadi elements are creating problems the world over. And India cannot be completely immune to it. But yes, we always respond to it with a lot of firmness. And today's statement of Honorable Deputy CM Devendra Fadnavis will, clearly has set the agenda of how they will be dealt with in future. He has very clearly said the sudden eruption of the Aulads of Aurangzeb cannot be tolerated. And I think, in future, even this sort of provocation, people will desist from creating this kind of provocation, because any provocation of this nature will also be answered with a...
No, I'll tell you what the answer is as of today in Kolhapur. There is Section 144, there is curfew that's been imposed in the town, internet has been shut down. Now, clearly this is not normal, right? Either the state intelligence failed to anticipate this kind of stuff, or if you're saying criminal elements, then you fail to rein in those criminal elements. Maybe you will do it next time. Maybe this will be a lesson for next time. But then I'm talking about the here and now. I'm talking about the situation as it exists today in Kolhapur district. There is curfew, there is a shutdown, there is no internet. That is what the reality is on the ground.
Can I answer this, please?
Tuin.
Another 12 hours from now, 9:30 tomorrow morning, everything will be normal.
Okay.
There are people's emotions involved when you get provoked in this manner. When the majority community gets provoked in this manner, time and again, there are emotions involved and there will be retaliation.
So, Mahesh Tapase, respond to that. You know, what the BJP is accusing NCP and other members of the Aghadi is, you are running with the hares and hunting with the hounds when you were in power. You allowed Akbaruddin Owaisi to come to Aurangzeb's grave and sing praises of him. If you were happy doing that, now this is the consequence of that.
BJP or Congress or any government in power cannot stop anybody from coming to anybody's grave. Let me tell my friend Tuin Sinha over here that Ram Navami has been celebrated with thousands of years. We have been in power, you are in power now. We have seen that in the days when NCP or the UPA was in power, even then Ram Navami was being celebrated. Why were there no classes? Why all of a sudden there has been a sudden downgrade of law and order in the state of Maharashtra? Why suddenly a girl is raped in a ladies' hostel in the city of Mumbai? Why suddenly everything?
No, I asked those questions to Tuin Sinha. He says in 12 hours things will come back to normal in Kolhapur. I'm asking a fundamental question. For the NCP, for Mahesh Tapase, is Aurangzeb a hero or is he a villain?
Of course, he's a villain. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, and Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj are our heroes. They are our heroes. We worship them, we idolize them, eulogize them.
So if somebody is then putting up a WhatsApp status eulogizing Aurangzeb, then how should that person be dealt with?
That is exactly what I'm saying. Why this has not happened when we were in power? Why suddenly all this has happened when BJP is in power? There is a definite design to this post the Karnataka election. There is a political design to it which we feel. I'm not accusing, but we have a strong doubt in our minds that there's a political design to have a religious polarization on Aurangzeb and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This is a norm if it has never occurred in Maharashtra. Why all of a sudden? Why in these last 10 months of...
Mr. Krishna Hegde, why all of a sudden this is happening? And is this BJP and your party getting rattled after the Karnataka election defeat, the extent of the Karnataka election defeat? Mr. Mahesh Tapase saying that the only way you can win the 2024 election, state and Lok Sabha, is by playing the religion card, is by polarizing the pitch.
See, we don't need to polarize the pitch. We will win the 2024 elections both in the Lok Sabha and in the Assembly with a thumping majority. And that is what these people are scared of. Now, if you look at Mr. Jha, what he said, he was trying to equate Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and a tyrant like Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb is a guy who killed his own brother and imprisoned his own father and rotted him to death. He's the person who destroyed thousands of temples. He's the person who committed atrocities on so many Hindus, millions of Hindus. and Mr. Jha was trying to equate him and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This is exactly where the
how
is
so?
going
How
wrong, where
so?
they
What
don't
did
know
he
what is
say
happening.
that? No, 1 second. What did he say that you felt he was trying to equate Aurangzeb and Shivaji Maharaj?
He said that we don't know who's right and who's wrong and who's good and who's bad. Is this the way? They should at least know what they are saying in the land of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and Sambhaji Maharaj, that this will not be tolerated. And if someone is going to do like this, obviously there will be a reaction to an action. You cannot expect that every time you are going to insult and humiliate our gods, and the Hindus will keep sitting down and watching you.
Okay, Mr. Jha, if your party was in power, if Aghadi was in power today, how different would your response have been? If somebody praised Aurangzeb, you would have also made sure that the law of the land is felt. That's exactly what this government is also doing, Mr. Jha.
No. See, the basic thing is that any kind of hate speech should not be tolerated. Even the Honorable Supreme Court had issued guidelines with regard to it, that any kind of hate speech should not be tolerated either for any of the religions. So in this manner, if the state governments wants to shed themselves under the garb that this reaction has to come out, this kind of statements shows that they have sponsored it, particularly for the purpose of polarization and for the purpose of election.
No, but what evidence do you have to back that claim? If you do, then please go to the court. Go to the court, file a PIL saying that this is being instigated by the
anything which happens,
current
they cannot
government.
say BJP
Yes, naturally the court has to decide on this also.
No, Mr. Jha.
See, these are the people who are opposing Swatantra Veer Savarkar. They are the people who are, supporting people who are talking against Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. They are the people who are, speaking in support of
nobody has supported.
People who are
you show the evidence that we have supported this kind of thing.
So, and what
these intolerant statements are coming from your side.
No statement. I am obviously defending. I am proud to be a Hindu. And why should I not be proud to
Yes, we are also proud to be Hindu. You are none of the single person in a Hindu society. You are living in this society.
No, but I am proud.
We are also Hindus. We also praise everybody.
So be proud. No, so be proud to be a Hindu. Don't glorify Aurangzeb.
You people are sponsoring atrocity
okay.
in a particular region.
I have to wrap up. All I'll say is, as I wrap up, the most important thing, the primary concern has to be to bring back the situation to a semblance of normalcy. Curfew and 144 and internet shutdowns are not normal. Also, the people who started this, the people who instigated this by, praising a tyrant like Aurangzeb, they need to be brought to book. There has to be justice meted out in this case. All of this needs to be done with great alacrity and great speed, and we hope that the Maharashtra government does that. That's a wrap of Brass Tacks. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll catch you again tomorrow night. Same time. Good night.
What do you make of this matchup? Obviously, Gujarat Titans have had the more superior season. They've looked the more superior side.
So it's going to be a close game.
Shuman has been fantastic.
Chief Minister Singh has blamed Kuki terrorists of being behind the recent violence in Manipur. He claims that terrorist groups are using sophisticated arms against civilians. So what's behind the Kuki insurgency?
Rahul Gandhi goes to foreign soil every time and he criticizes India and he criticizes the government from there. What difference does it make where he's criticizing from? He's an opposition politician. His job is to criticize the government. How is that a crime?
So 9 years of Modi Sarkar, but for you, what is the single biggest achievement under Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Very, very deep transformation of India's governance.
Grateful that the country has given us an opportunity to serve under Prime Minister Modi. सेवा के 9 साल के लिए मैं देश के नागरिकों का आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ.
Against the accused Kanojia, who was found dead on the track. And remember,
he was also the watchman of the hostel in which the girl was found dead. So an 18-year-old girl was found dead in a hostel in Mumbai's Marine Drive, and the watchman of the hostel who is suspected in this case was also found dead on the railway track. CNN News 18's Yesha is joining us on this story. Yesha, can you give us more details about this shocking incident that is coming to the fore from Mumbai?
Yes, Anjali. In fact, what has now been seen is that in this case, this 18-year-old girl, she was staying in this hostel on the 4th floor. It was only yesterday was when police received a call at Marine Drive police station stating that the room of this girl is locked. She's in fact not spoken to anyone since 11:30 the previous night. That is on Monday night. 11:30 was when she last spoke to her friends. Following which she was not seen anywhere. In fact, the diary, the register of the hostel did not show her going out anywhere. Which the police received this call wherein they were informed that the girl was not to be found. It was only when the cops reached the spot they broke open the door and the girl was found. That in a suspicious situation. Also, a dupatta was found wrapped around her neck, but she was not found hanging. She was found on the floor. Police then started investigating this case. They also spoke to a few people around, and which is where they realized that this person, Kanoja, who was working as a security guard in that hostel for quite a few years, was also missing since morning. Then, as a part of the investigation, an unclaimed body was found between Marine Drive and Churchgate station. It was found out that this person had jumped before a train and had taken his life. This body was in fact then taken to GT hospital where postmortem and all were done. Later on, it was Kanojia's family who used to stay in the Kolhapur area, identified him and claimed the body. Now, when you speak of this victim, the girl, she was from Akola. She was in Mumbai. She was studying at a college at Bangalore. She was also working part-time. It was only later it was first found out that there's possibility of a rape and murder in this case. Police have, as of now, like we've mentioned, registered the case under IPC 376 and 302. Now, further investigation is on. The body of this girl has been sent for postmortem. Further investigation would actually reveal as to what really transpired on the intervening night of Monday and Tuesday, because last when the girl spoke to her friends was Monday night, following which this accused had been missing since Tuesday morning. In fact, his body was also found on the tracks around Tuesday early morning, and the case was reported only by Tuesday afternoon. So now police is investigating as to what really transpired. Considering that the postmortem reports are awaited, they shed some more light on this particular incident. But as of now, the investigation is on, while the victim's family would also be approached, considering that she's based out of Akola. Yes.
But also, Yesha, as per reports suggest that her friends have claimed that it was not the first time and that the watchman, who is also the suspect in this case, used to harass her earlier also.
Yes, that's right. In fact, police sources have confirmed that this particular person, Kanoja, was used to harass her even before, which is where the police have put this case together and have filed this case of 376 and 302. This is on the basis of the statements by her friends about whatever had transpired between them earlier, was where this case has been registered. And now, considering that 376 has been added, is where the case would further progress, because earlier until last night when the police was investigating the case, there was no clarity whether this case actually is of sexual assault or not. But on the basis of the statements by her friends is where these particular sections have been added to the case. Also, there's another theory to it, because considering that the door was locked from inside, the police will also now have to investigate as to what really happened, how the door was locked from inside while the person, the accused, his body was found on the railway tracks. Yes.
Right, Yesha, please stay with us. We have Abha Singh joining us on this story. Ms. Singh, so this shocking incident is being reported from Maharashtra's Mumbai, where an 18-year-old girl has been found dead in her hostel, and the suspect in this case, who was also the watchman, was also found dead on the railway track hours later this incident took place. What's your reaction on this?
On the first thing, it looks like a suicide because, as you said, that the room was locked from inside and there were no signs of any forceful entry. So it clearly looks like a case of suicide in the case of the girl, and even the watchman, it looks like it is suicide. So to say that it is murder at this stage would be a little too early. But seeing the things recently, my question is that if these girls are staying in hostels, they come from small areas or wherever they come from far-flung areas. So why are there not CCTV cameras? Why there is no interaction if there is a hostel warden? Any untoward behavior was seen in the girl, or any untoward or some incident happened towards her. These are the things which the police needs to look into. Just putting 302 murder will not solve the issue, because we have seen in so many cases they put 302 and then in the court it's just thrown out by the courts. So it is necessary that the forensics are done immediately. The viscera is preserved. It should be seen that there was a sexual assault or not. So the most important thing in this case would be the forensic report. So that should not be delayed. It should be done first thing. And the problem in India is, I have seen that we have very few forensic labs, like Kalina for one. They are overburdened. The report doesn't come for six months. So rather than doing anything, the police should first get more forensic labs or get it done from outside.
Namaskar and a very warm welcome. You're watching Vantage. I'm Akanksha Swaroop.